Welcome guys, I'm in my garage today starting off and deciding to do a little review on this brand new 2023 KLX 110R I just purchased about a week ago. Already rode it a couple times in the trails and I figured I'm gonna wash it today and give you guys a little review, tell you guys about it. So here she goes. I got her Thursday of last week. And got it with all the papers, everything. The guy had installed these aftermarket little hand guards. He's got an aftermarket phone guard or whatever. But nothing's done to it. It's all obviously stock. Not even, this is everything stock from stickers and everything else. He installed an hour meter when I first got it, which had 11 hours on it. And now we're at 25, almost 26. So this engine's been alive for a full day straight. If you think about it that way. Just trying to give you guys a full look. I'm going to be cleaning it off because I was in the trails earlier yesterday. And it, just a little dusty. I like to keep her nice and brand new. As you guys can see. Roughing her up a bit. And I don't really know how else to prove it, but can't really see too well. The oil's gold honey, but yeah, she's a little ran through after I beat her up in the trails yesterday. Check out this girl. Can't wait to get her on the track soon. Even though she was a little leaky on the fork seals over here, guys. So that's gonna be a little pain. As you can tell, I've been tearing this thing up on the streets. Don't got much left. But yeah, let's roll her back out and get her cleaned up for a review. Got the bike all rolled out, nothing but a little hose. Now, it's usually just a little dusty, so I'm just gonna go about getting all the dust off of her, giving her the treatment she deserves, as she is a brand new girl. I want to keep her that way. Now, as I'm spraying this thing down a little bit, kind of just wanted to yap a little bit about the bike. So these 110Rs, they don't have a clutch, semi-automatic, it's all in the gearing. And 110Ls I've had in the past come with a clutch, make the wheeling a lot funner, a lot cooler, pull it up faster and easier. But these smaller ones, the way that they ride just feels better because they're like a couple inches smaller in ride height and spring height, fork height, all of that business. Once you get the wheel up and kind of get to the balance point, these do feel a lot better, I will say. And if you hold the shifter all the way up in second gear and rev it up and then dump it into letting it shift, it will actually pull up in third from shifting second up to third, and it will actually do pretty good wheelies. Now that's what these things are about too. I got this thing because I love wheeling, and that 250R is just dangerous when you're on 40-50 miles an hour power wheeling. Not really learning the brake on those huge bikes, scary to drop back. 220-pound bikes versus these 150, 60-pound bikes or whatever. So it's a lot nicer and easier to just ride these and learn practicing wheelies on these. Even though the L's clutch kit's a lot easier. You can clutch kit these things too. I see them online. Maybe I'll do one day and record the process. But yeah. I'm going to show you guys some wheelies after we get this thing reviewed. Just want to tell you guys a little bit about it. Finish cleaning her up, get her real shiny, and then get to it. Okay, so I got the bike starting up running, and let me just cut it, just make sure you guys can hear me. Bike started up running. Got some grease going on it, on the chain. You guys can see it's layered over here. But before I do the review and tell you guys a little bit about the specs and everything about the bike, just in case you guys know the boring part, might as well ride it a little bit. Get shit into the riding part. So I'm going to be riding it. It's no gear, no helmet, no nothing. These bikes were designed to be ridden by 8-year-olds. So, could you really worry? The way I ride it, you could probably worry. You guys are wondering why I'm not using that phone mount, because it doesn't give a good angle. But yeah, first gear, very torquey. Power these things makes you wonder why they're built for 8-year-olds, but hit the turn. So these things ride about 50 miles an hour, and the gearing is so torquey on these things with the power. Now, if you're wondering, these things are carbureted, man. Still are carbureted, and they still got power, which is nice. As of this thing, it's got some real power. Not carbureted, as you guys see, no carb. You're not gonna find it nowhere. Now these things still rip, I know the Honda pitters, the newer 20s, went EFI with their Honda pitters, but Kawi with the airbox design they got, and these stock carburetors, they just rip, man. They rip. Alright guys, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this bike. I'm going to start off with how reliable this thing is. Things are honestly bulletproof with the steel swing arms they make for these things and the frame. And the suspension, I'm going to be honest, is not the most bulletproof thing about these. Neither on the RLs, let me be honest, even with the little raised seat height and the forks and whatever. These things are still easily able to clap out when you jump them from big jumps to flat. If you have landing on jumps, it's really smooth. The bike feels really good. You just gotta have landings. Can't be jumping like 1 foot jumps into flat. You'll clap the hell out of these bikes. Gas. These things run really, really well with gas. You see it's almost empty now, but I've been riding this thing for probably about 2 hours and it gets that low with a 1 gallon tank. Tank's pretty big. Holds up this whole area. That's the airbox right on that side, but tank's right here. Holds a good amount of gas. The only thing about these is, like people said, with the older riders like me, people who want to enjoy these bikes and they're not 8-year-olds to 12-year-old kids, and they would rather have the RL with the raised front and the raised back, and it gives you higher bars because people like to complain the bars are too low on these things. I think it's all right. One difference I've noticed about these Rs is when I've hopped on them, compared to having my 2018 RL in the trails, these things felt a lot more wobbly, a lot more squirrely and loose compared to the RL when I had it in the trails. Which is weird because this is 23 and that's an 18 that I had in the trails. But maybe the seat height really does help the stability. I will tell you guys that. chain guards on this. Now about this engine, it's a 110R, yes, but it's actually 112 cc's with about 7,500 RPM range. So these things rip, do about 50 miles an hour. I'm sure you could probably get them to do 55 if you do a little bit of touching up, even though the carbs on these things are pretty good with Kian carbs. Really, really good carburetors. Now, one thing about these things is I've noticed you can get cheap Lifan 125 engines, and they absolutely rip compared to these 112 cc's, which is like, what could you expect? You could change some gearing up, get these things to go faster. That's the one thing about these pit bikes is the Chinese pit bikes with 125 Lifans are way faster than these and way cheaper, but they're not anywhere near as durable as these are. Trust me, I've had one, bought it for 800 bucks, sold it for 800 bucks because the thing was just not reliable. To this day, that thing's out somewhere broken because it's just not reliable. These things reliable all day. I don't know if it's that, but I paid $2,250 for this thing. Out the dealership, they probably ask you $3,000. I'll never go to a dealership and buy these bikes. Always look for my marketplace. They're everywhere. Trust me, it only took me 2 weeks to get this after I sold my one bike a week prior. 2018 that I sold. So I'm gonna just flip these bikes. Know quite a damn thing about them. Try to show you guys some trail clips and stop yapping so you guys could really see these things perform in the trail.
Thanks for watching. Comment what kind of riding you want to see next and or ideas, let me know.